The next 2 days is not about politics or about politicians. The next 2 days are about the people of South Africa. And the outcomes of the next 2 days of discussions need to be judged based on whether they provide concrete solutions to improve the lives of South African people. If they speak to one of the unemployed South Africans in South Africa, if they speak to the mother who's sitting around a kitchen table wondering how to feed her family, to the business owners and people who've lost their jobs because of load shedding. For that to be the case, this cannot and must not be a purely anti-ANC project. It has to be a pro-South Africa project. And tomorrow, when this part of the process is complete, please judge the politicians sitting at this table today on whether their outcomes promise greater hope and tangible improvements for your life and for your future. Ask whether they're collectively providing solutions to things like crime, unemployment, load shedding. If the answer is yes, if these parties emerge with an agreement to not only defeat the ANC, but to rescue South Africa, then I ask that you judge it as a success. Because our country does not have a second to waste. The next election in South Africa will be a hinge of history moment for our country. So now it is time for leaders gathered here today to put aside differences of the past, to forget about the scars of battles gone, and focus firmly on the future. The DA is irrevocably committed to this project. It is something I publicly committed our party to at our Federal Congress in April. To all of my fellow leaders at the table, I want to say a very big thank you. Thank you for the maturity, for the compassion and the love for country that has been shown, and for how far we have already come. Many people thought that we would never even be able to get to this point, sitting around a table to find common solutions. Yet, here we are. But our biggest test now lies before us. Over the next 2 days, we will no doubt have honest and very robust discussions. But I know that they will be based on the passion we all share for this beautiful country and for all the people who call her home. The people gathered here at this front table represent a broad spectrum of the South African people. Seated before you are people from Durban, Umtata, Hammanskraal, Stilfontein, Mtuba and Cape Town. Proud South Africans, all of us. And this is the outcome we seek. What we're doing here over the next 2 days will be for the people of South Africa. An agreement for the people of not only Durban, Umtata, Hammanskraal or Stilfontein, or Mtuba and Cape Town, but for every town and city across our country. Judge the next 2 days on what the outcomes will be to the problems you face at home in your daily life. And I'll repeat what I've said before. This project cannot be owned by politicians. It must be owned by the people. If you're satisfied with the outcomes of our discussions, I ask that the people claim their ownership by going out to register to vote in massive numbers. There are 14 million South Africans who have not voted in the last 2 elections. There are 13 million South Africans who are not registered to vote. The moment for change has now arrived, and I pledge the DA's full support over the next 2 days and urge us all to seize this momentous opportunity with both hands. Thank you very much.
Today is the day, and this is the only day where we are taking ourselves back to 1994. This is our 1994 as this pact. The Independent South African National Civic Organization seeks to say we have been let down by those whom we regarded to be the most credible and the most knowledgeable leaders. But here, we want to say we are capable collectively and individually to rise to the occasion. You are leaders, members of the pact. Don't underestimate your responsibility, your credibility, and ability to rise to that standard. South Africans have been looking for an alternative, and you are that alternative. Bring South Africa, take South Africa where it belongs, and that is to the skies. We are here who have experienced a lot of challenges in a so-called democratic era, of which we are also going to read and learn about the failures and victims of such so-called democracy. Now we are here as drivers and conductors of a new arrangement, and that arrangement will be solicited and will be encouraged by a solidarity that will give progress and take South Africa forward. And through solidarity, we shall only progress when we take our political differences and personal feelings and put South Africans first, and that we can only aspire to be a developed country, although we are developing. But we want to make sure that we all participate as leaders with our communities in their own development. We are here to stay. We are here to say to South African, this is the real CODESA, and it will take us far and where South Africa belongs.